Hi everybody, and welcome to my Google Classroom video. This year, I would say that Google Classroom is absolutely imperative to the success of my homeschool. Last year we used it as a tool, but I would say that, it was kind of sloppy and not a huge priority, but this year it is definitely the spine. Like, everything starts and ends here. You'll have to bear with me a little bit because I'm not great at this, and I just have like a little camera phone, and so hopefully you'll be able to see things okay. And of course, I started my homeschool year, and yesterday Google sends me a notification and says, oh, by the way, we updated the way Google Classroom works. So it is completely different, and the updates, or it's not, I shouldn't say that. That's extreme. They made some slight changes that make my life a lot harder because they aren't updating existing classes. They are only updating new classes. So, to check it out, I created a new preschool class so I can see the new features and decide if I need to create new classrooms for these 3 subjects that I created a month ago to prepare for the class that I wanted to start in August. So I'm a little bit irked by that. They used to, on top of it, they used to have this handy to-do list, so my grading was a lot simpler, but I'm trying to navigate around that. I think they don't need the to-do list anymore because in the new classrooms, they order the assignments better by due date, where mine, like right now, they don't order them by due date. They order them by when you created them, which is silly. You can rearrange them, but anyway, we'll get to that. So right now, I think the best feature about this was the to-do list. But now you can go into the calendar and you can select, like you can see this looks really full because it has all 4 classes on it. But I can tell it, okay, show me the vocabulary assignments. So here you can see 2 people turn them in. They did their vocabulary assignments, and I don't usually grade it, so I mark it ungraded. I can see they did it. They have binders, so there's nothing to check here. Sorry, it's slow to update. So there's nothing to check. They just mark it done when they've done it. I've already checked their binders. I know they've done it. We talked about the word of the day, so I'm so sorry. We talked about the word of the day, so there's no need, but it does help. What is nice is that I create the assignment. They can open their Google Classroom on an app on their phone or on their tablets or on their computers, and they can see this is what's expected of me. This is the flow of my day. I can see these tasks that I have to get done. So I'm going to go ahead and do them. And then I'm going to communicate to my mother that they were done. So once you've decided, you can set the points you can set the point value of the assignment when you create it. And then you can grade it. For us, the grading is arbitrary. It's more of like a completion thing at this point, for especially vocabulary building in most of 5th grade. And I haven't really decided how I'm going to handle Michael's literature class in terms of grading, but we could get to that later. And then the nice thing is, like, you return it and you can, type a private comment. Just to sample, I will type "great job," and they will think that it's weird because I almost never comment on these assignments. Sometimes I'll like type in a correction or something. But it's nice because you can return it with a comment so that they know your train of thought. You can open a dialogue about the assignment. You can make any corrections. I prefer not. I prefer to just keep the comments positive. And then you hit return. And you can see what you said to each student. And that's the end of that. And you can actually, here's the instructions. So you can toggle between what you told them to do and their work. So then we can go back to the main page, and you can see that mostly I just have, you have to scroll the bottom, but I've had 2 turned in. Oh, I didn't return these either. Okay, so I'll have to return that. But you can see that this has been assigned and that they've turned in the assignments. There's 2 assigned for Word 4. None have been turned in. So once something is turned in, it switches, and you can see what used to be a task list. So all you would have to do is scroll to the bottom of your task list and see, like, and in the task list, they were ordered by the due date, and you could see really quickly and easily. But as you can see, there's no more to-do list. I actually messaged them about that, so maybe the next update, after I get used to this platform and have organized everything, maybe the next update will change that and the to-do list will be back. We'll see. So anyway, that is vocabulary building. It's pretty straightforward. Every day they have to ask Alexa, what's the word of the day? They write it in a binder that has alphabet tabs. They alphabetize it. They write their own sentence. I physically look at it each day to check that it's done. And then on day 5, they are expected, on the 5th day of the week, they are expected to turn it into me so then I can make corrections to them. Like whether it's punctuation in their sentence, or they use the word wrong, or I have something to add to the definition or whatever. I'll put a little post-it in, and then they're expected to make that correction. Here, day 8 is turn-in binder day in this case because we started on a weird week. But anyway, that's the goal. So then it clearly communicates to them. I don't have to talk to them about it. I don't have to remind them about it. So I pretty much just put everything that I want them to do into the assignment. I'm like every time, like this is all copy and paste. And it's nice too because like all of this, like any normal day, word 9, word 10, word 11, that's all just me hitting reuse the post. And I go and find, like, I want to reuse word 19. I tell it reuse it, and I just adjust it to the corresponding word, and you can see too, the window is open, but I can still scroll and see where I left off. So I left off at Word a Day Quiz 1, but the last word I told them to do was word 20. So my obviously next word will be word 21. And the last day I told them to do something was September 5th. So word 21 will actually be due on September 6th. And my kids don't like the times, so I leave the times off. They just prefer it all clumped. And what ends up happening, though, is that on Google Calendar, it's all clumped together as an all-day event. So every task is an all-day event. So if you actually use Google Calendar for your life, I would recommend either hiding your school calendar or assigning times or finding something that works for you. I only use Google Calendar for school because it never works for me to use a digital calendar for my life. Everything about my life is manual. Everything about my school is digital. So that's how you assign stuff. And I will talk about these icons in other classrooms because they're super cool, but I don't use them for Word a Day. So this is basically, I started here at vocabulary building because, and then you just hit assign. And it assigns it. I started in vocabulary building because it's really just the simplest class. Like, I don't add anything. I just assign their word of day, and you can see, like, I have little things where they're going to plug in their own Quizlets and create their own word a day quizzes, and just to, interact with the words a little bit more. So that's pretty straightforward. Daily work, and it only has 2 topics. The daily work that they're going to do, which I forgot. Oh no, it did copy it. So when you reuse the post, it automatically assigns it to the same topic too. And then quizzes. So that is their vocabulary building class. The other classes are a little bit more complex. So I'm kind of most proud of this one. And it's kind of a step up from the complexity. It sort of goes like vocabulary building is the least complex, book movie comparison is moderate, and then 5th grade is the most involved, which makes sense because 5th grade is covering the most things. But you can see here that he has done this assignment. It's been returned, and so I title everything the main goal of the assignment, and then for him, I just list out in steps because Oh, that's funny that that's wrong. But I just list out the steps because Michael is very task-oriented, and it helps him to sort of have a more checklist style. So first do this, second do this. And then this is the feature that I was going to tell you about. Like, you can see, I can just edit it. You can see the links that were added in here. So I just clicked this little link button and hyperlinked in what I wanted him to do. So he doesn't have to navigate anything. It's all right there. He just has to click on them, do the task, and then come back to the Google Classroom platform. The other cool thing is you can search right in YouTube for videos. So we've been doing, this has nothing to do with his topic, but this assignment's already done, so we won't look at it again. Prehistory in Nebraska is what Jackson is interested in right now. So there's lots of good videos on YouTube. So I can just do whatever search term, and I can find an appropriate video, a relevant video, and add it right into the assignment. And when you click on it, then it just populates right in Google Classroom, and you can play it. But playback is disabled on this particular video, so that sometimes happens. And I don't actually want to save those changes, so I'll just cancel. But that's like the best thing why I decided Google Classroom was going to be the planning platform for me, because I can embed things straight into what I want them to look at. They can look at one thing in one place and get to where they're going and get back easily. So, yep, so that's been assigned and returned. So turned in, nothing, assigned, nothing, returned 1. So that's graded and done. Here is day 2 and what he did. So again, with the links directly where he needs to go. So I need to grade this one because it's been turned in and I haven't graded it. So then I just click on the actual assignment itself. I can see the student work. I can see the instructions. So I can check what I wanted him to do quickly, and then I can go, okay, did he do that? As far as I know. This one is, the thing with my Google Classroom is that I don't do a lot of output on the actual platform. Most of my output for the kids is in the physical realm, not the digital realm. You can require them to post comments. You can embed questions that they need to answer right into your classroom stream, and they answer from there. And that's a great way to communicate and do it. It just doesn't work for me at this time. I am far more responsive to things that I can physically touch and hold. So this is kind of outside my comfort zone, but it's working super well. Again, the grading for me is completely arbitrary, and they know that, so I'm gonna have to get my crap together though if I'm gonna for high school level stuff, and this is a high school level class, so I'm gonna probably have to make some adjustments. Anyway, but just to not slow you down by changing this to ungraded, I'm just gonna give him the 100 points and hit return. And again, you can do a private comment. He told me today that he was really enjoying the book, the textbook that I assigned him, so I will just give him a little encouragement or a note to say that I can't talk and think about what I'm writing at the same time. But I will just give him a little note to say that to show that I'm grateful of his positive attitude. The text I assigned. So then it's just, again, just another way to show that, you're working, I'm working, we're in this together. Model proper spelling, model some sentence structure and grammar. Obviously that's not something that's super intense, but I write out, when I respond to Jackson, I write a little bit more. Anyway, so that's that assignment. Oops. So then we just go, once you've graded it, you just go back to your stream, and it's fine, by clicking on this toolbar. Oh, and I wanted to mention too, so the one thing that I would change besides putting the taskbar back is that you would be able to customize the colors, not just the theme. So the colors are automatically assigned when you choose a theme, which is fine, except you might choose a theme that repeats a color, so then all your classes don't have different colors, which that bothers me. It's much easier. And there's another one turned in. So just for the sake of the video, I'm just going to click on this, give it 100 points, and hit return and move on. So then again, we can see that it's done. And you get out of this what you put into it. Like if you want it to be a huge communication platform, it can be. If not, if you just want it to be a checklist, it can be. You can get out of the grading thing by marking the assignment ungraded as soon as you do it. But fifth grade is where, oh shoot, I wanted to show you in book and movie comparison though, you have these cool about features. So you can see like, here's the class code, here's the subject matter, but you can lay out and plan your entire class in Google Documents. So I don't know if some of you may have seen these documents actually shared on my Facebook page, but in Google Drive, you can just organize yourself right in Google Drive, like, and it's right attached to your class. You can find it easily just by going into your About section. So here I just have like my standard, what I'm using and when it's due, and then I created a scope and sequence for the class. So that gives me sort of my flow of like where I need to start planning. So I've embedded like all these resources right in these documents. And then this one, like I lay out, I only put a week's worth of assignments for most of the subjects, just in case, like into the stream. I only actually assign things a week at a time, just in case something comes up, like somebody gets sick. It's so much easier to just set aside 15 minutes on Sunday to plug these things into the calendar than it would be to try to rearrange and play catch up. So I lay out the plan for the class, for at least for the month, you know, for this one unit that we're doing Jurassic Park because it corresponds with his book and movie club, and what I want achieved every week. And then I break those ideas up into little assignments that are realistic for the day. And I have that as quick reference. So for week 2 is already planned, but I'm going to go in to Google Classroom and assign the tasks in a realistic bite-sized pieces just from this. And the hyperlinks, like this is all hyperlinked so that I can grab the hyperlinks easily. And I'm going to be, and like after the fact, after I put all this together, I found a really great de-extinction playlist because you know how Facebook has those algorithms and they know what you're into. So they were like, oh, I see you're doing a lot of prehistory and dinosaur stuff. You might like this playlist. So they gave me this awesome playlist. So I hyperlinked that at the top so that I can incorporate it when a day looks a little light or whatever. So I have it all here ready to go. It's just a matter of then going back into the stream and saying, okay, Google, create an assignment. And now it's time to look at that de-extinction playlist. And everything is just right in that About section, which I can open in a new tab and hit copy and paste. I'm not going to do that now, but because, I mean, really, you don't need me to show you how to do it because it's super intuitive, super straightforward. I think the interesting thing is like, how do you make it work in your life? So that's mostly what I'm showing you. So I hope that it feels useful. So, and here we are in the 5th grade class. The 5th grade class is more complex because it is general education. So the thing that I did here was break up the topics that I'm going to try to cover this year with Jackson. So, and this just goes in alphabetical order. The new platform, you can actually adjust the order that you want them in. So like, for me, language arts and math are the top priority things. So it would be super nice if I could pop them at the top of the list. I can't. It just goes in alphabetical order. On the new platform, what you actually end up having here is a classroom tab, and you can order your topics the same way you order assignments, but you can shift them around. So your most important topics can be at the top, or your most frequent topics can be at the top, whatever works for you. For me, I just have them all divided. When you're just in stream, you see all the topics and the assignments and things appear in the order that you created them. but you can isolate the topics by clicking on them. So we have career research, geography, etc. I haven't done my geography planning yet. We're starting that late, so that's empty. But I can hit language arts, and you can see the things that I classify under language arts. So language arts has 4 general things that we do every day. He podcasts journals, he does a spelling, a writing, and independent reading. So that's all on here. The thing that I don't like, that I relied on the task list for previously, was that all of these, like I've already mentioned, are ordered in the time that you create them rather than the time that they're due. So if I plan all writing practice all at once, that's all going to bunch up and they're all going to be together. And then I go next to reading, that's all bunched together, and so on and so forth. So every topic, so if I plan out a week of writing, all 7 of those, or all 5 of those assignments are together, and then I'll have to grade the one that was turned in and then scroll up to find the podcast and grade that, etc., etc. So you can see that I have quite a list. I have 2 days worth to grade because I was so frustrated last night. I didn't do grading because of the changes to Google Classroom. So I have some just identifying to do. It seemed like a lot headier of a task last night than it does now, because now I can see that, I'll just go subject by subject and scroll through my stream quick, because it's really not that hard, because you can see right away, like, oh, that's a sign not turned in, and there it's turned in. So yeah, language arts is like that, math is like that, and math, like, this is seriously just like a to-do list, because he just opens a workbook and does it, so it's just like, I put it on the calendar so he knows the expectation, just like in the vocabulary building. He physically does the work. It's a check the box. And then we have physical health and nutrition, this is where I stick his diving practices. And I actually have some diving videos that I want him to watch and stuff. So the diving practice, I assign a time to, and then he can see it. It shows up as a task, or as an assignment. And he can see that it's a specific time and he knows where it is, just so he can plan his day a little bit. Science and social studies, I get the most excited about the ones I'm writing myself. So this is fun, and where you can really kind of see the YouTube feature shine. He wanted to learn, just randomly, I was going to do something completely different. I got a Think Tree or Think Fun notebook. Have you guys seen those? They're like specifically, I think it's Thinking Tree or Think Fun or something, where they do, it's like journaling, and it's specifically, like, she started making it for dyslexic kids and it sort of blossomed into a whole homeschool thing. Anyway, I got her science notebook, which is cool, and it's like a Charlotte Mason kind of lap book, but in a notebook, and you just write in, she has a page where you write in your own, whatever, it's a separate video, but anyway, it was supposed to be sort of a free form, like, here, study something about biology, here's your biology section, and write it all down. But he just, like, last minute was like, oh, I want to know all about prehistory, like, what did the world look like before humans got here? So specifically, what did the area of the world that we live in look like? So we're starting with prehistory in Nebraska specifically, and I didn't really know what to do because there is not a lot of solid curriculum that really dives deep into prehistory. So I ended up just sort of, we're going to start specifically with Nebraska because I obviously knew about Ash Falls and all of that. So I just found some things online and linked them right into assignments, told them to read them. And then for output, this is the one class where I have done output right into Google Classroom, where I've actually asked him questions. So tomorrow you can see, do you think sale and use of mammoth ivory should be regulated? Why or why not? Hence why this topic is science and social studies, not just science.